This right back, Charlie.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, man. Come on.
Because you always use that active red light defending. I think it's like because you always use that active red light defending. I think it's like because you always use that active red light defending. I think it's like because you always use that active red light defending. I think it's like
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, man. Come on.
Come on, Ian, right? Are we live? Of course we're live. People deluded, I'm back again. First things first, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, depending on where you lot are locked in from, wherever you are on this earth. Appreciative of you lot tuned in for another live stream / video. One love to everyone who's been supporting the content. Appreciative of the platform we've got. Smash the like button, comment your opinions, turn on the notifications. Don't forget, I'm sure some of you would have seen in the chat, people, I've just posted a link. Arsenal play Manchester City at 8 p.m, so I'll be live to watch the game with you lot an hour before kickoff at 8 p.m. At 7 p.m. better yet. You know, there's to be something wrong. As usual, appreciative of you lot tuned in. Appreciate all the support you lot give me. Hope you all have a great weekend. Hope this week has been great to you lot, and I hope you and your loved ones are in good health. Now, I'm sure you can see me doing the Sky Sports thing, yellow bar. Allegedly, I can't lie. We used to pray for times like this. Just by browsing the net, David Ornstein saying Arsenal have considerable funds. Arsenal want Caicedo. Arsenal will go for Caicedo and the price, regardless of how that, you know, almost the Declan Rice thing doesn't really matter. We're going for him as well. If not, hopefully we get some other things. We used to pray for times like this. What we're doing in the league, the players we got, bullying all the other top four youths as well. You see what happened to Man City, Man United. Man City can get packed today. They're making us monsters. Man United, Tottenham, Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham times 2. We're just packing youths. We're just moving mad out here. Saka's moving mad. Everybody's moving mad. Odegaard's doing great stuff. It's the gaffer Super Mikel Arteta's doing things. It's happy to be an Arsenal fan right now. I used to pray for times like this. I don't want this season to ever end, provided we keep doing what we're doing. I'm sure a lot of you have a lot of things to say, people. We will get in and cover what the headlines are saying. I'm sure some of you have seen my previous video I've done with Moses Caicedo, where in that time allegedly a bid's been rejected. But let me see what you lot are saying. As we know, people, smash the like button, comment your thoughts. Doesn't even have to necessarily be related to this. Twitch gang, you're always appreciative. Ray, we span it 3 times. Chris, one love. Joshua, what have you said? First question of the live stream. Afternoon, DG. Afternoon, right back at you, Jay. Do you think Arsenal should offer 65 million plus Sambi to Brighton, or should we hold on to Sambi and go for 65, 70? I ain't gonna lie to you. Maybe, you know what, best of both worlds, because I don't know what Brighton put in the water, but maybe a Lokonga on loan plus the money. You know, let Lokonga, whatever juice they gave Basuma, Caicedo, McAllister, and all them, man. Let Lokonga sip that Kool-Aid, see what he's on past the end of the season, really. The one thing I would say is, as the window trickles down to it being Tuesday, we need to get a move on, because we do need to remember Brighton are trying to achieve what they're trying to achieve. They've lost Trossard. They lost Basuma last summer. In the summer, they'll probably lose Caicedo, regardless of if he signs for Arsenal now or then or to someone else. Probably will let go of McAllister. Matoma's come up. A team like Brighton, scouting is fantastic. As you already know, again, it pays to do scouting. It pays to get these players in early, whether that's Mudryk, whether that's Caicedo, or the guy at Napoli, KK or whatever. Apparently his agent offered him around for 10 million euros. How much is he worth now? You look at Caicedo, some would say the price is just the price in it. Everybody in the Prem and people that want to buy people from abroad, they know the money that Premier League teams have. You know, Bournemouth are trying to go toe to toe with AC Milan. If you told me that in the early 2000s, I'll be looking at you like you're either from the future or you're bugging out. And other Premier League teams know that. You know, you look at Harry Maguire. Benjamin White's done significantly better than Maguire, but at the time we bought Benjamin White, it was off the back of one Premier League season. Caicedo has played 31 times for his football club on top of what he did in South America, 31 times for Brighton. He's gone from being a £5 million player to over 55 odd million, because is that not what they rejected? So in terms of it, you know, Brighton might say, you know what, listen, we'll take Sambi, another IC3 midfielder. Let's see what we could do. I think we should let him go on loan. Or if I'm honest with you, it's catch-22. Because on one hand, I think Sambi needs to go on loan, play football, build up his confidence. But at the same time, we need you as a body. So if you bring in Caicedo, you have Lokonga. It's a bit peak for Lokonga, but you kind of take El Nene's role. Then when El Nene's back, it could be peak for you. And on the face of it, you could let him go because we should have enough. If El Nene's fit, you got Xhaka, you got Partey. Assuming we sign Caicedo or somebody else, bro, that's 4 men that can play there. Obviously, the Smith Rowe's, the Odegaards, the Zinchenko's, these kind of men can play in the 8 role. Probably have to tweak the system and all of those sort of things, but could have the best of both worlds. But as I keep saying, you know, the more the window shuts, or goes or is moving to being shut, the more we kind of need to get a move on, because we need to be respectful to Brighton. Now, I hope we're able to leverage our good relationship with Brighton. You know, again, Brighton have a good system. You know, off the top of my head, McAllister will go for big money. My man Caicedo is going to go for big money. Mitoma, if he keeps it up, is going to go for big money. Basuma, relatively decent fee, but a profit, I'm sure. The same goes for Leandro Trossard. Hugh Izzy, Cucurella, they made bread off Chelsea for that. So it all depends how you're looking at things, people. But in theory, it would be all right. I probably would say Lokonga on loan, because you don't want Lokonga to go there, start looking like the player that got him brought to Arsenal. I know it's a tried hype, but Arsenal being serious again brings a tear. Trust me, man. I used to pray for times like this. Mr. is saying, send Lokonga. I'd personally love if we could sign Caicedo this winter. Hope there's a backup option lined up if Brighton stay firm, and hope the West London bums don't come and outbid us. Big up yourself, Red Cloud, and that's it. You know, I mean, hopefully it could be third time lucky, but we lost out on Felix, we lost out on Mudryk. Again, like you said, you need a backup. Go after Declan Rice, go after Caicedo, go after whoever. We've listened, you lot been watching the tactical videos and the transfer vids. We've been linked with bare midfielders, even in the past couple of days. Ruben Neves, Telemans has resurfaced. Caicedo today, Declan Rice in the back burners. You know, Ibrahima Bamba, who can play centre half as well as in central midfield. And there's probably some names I'm missing out, really. So all that matters is doing other things. Now, I do think Arsenal do want a centre mid. I do think we're a bit bougie in that we admire a lot of centre mid. Smash the like button, but we're only going to buy people that are going to improve us. I feel with what's happened with El Nene, I don't know how long he's out for. I think that's kind of relayed fears to Arsenal that, we need to bring in a midfielder to keep ticking over. And I would say El Nene's injury or injuries has probably exaggerated us needing a centre mid more so, because I say that maybe that's not the right word. We know we needed a centre mid anyways, regardless of what happens with El Nene, with Xhaka, with Partey. We knew in the summer we needed a centre mid. It didn't happen towards the tail end. We know we would have, in an ideal world, would love to have confirmed a winger and a centre mid early this window. I think we need a centre mid anyways. So, and I just think this again re-highlights the thing, and we're gone full circle again, kind of with the summer of going for a winger, and then with the injuries to, ironically, Partey and El Nene at the time, we circled again back for a centre mid. Shout out, let's activate, man. We are moving like a big club. I'm so happy Arsenal are making Brighton our feeder club like Liverpool did Southampton. Rarely even been able to watch these lives nowadays. Been way too busy with life. Being busy is a privilege, man. The good thing about YouTube and Twitch, past a certain point, is here forever, my guy. So when you got time, circle again, man. So yeah, hopefully you lot are doing well and safe. We've got 46 likes. There's 182 of you locked in on YouTube. Come on, people. Ornstein is talking the talk. DG is gas. I mean, how could you not be? See what my team's doing? 70 million max will go get Benassia. Benassia, who's signing a new deal, but apparently it's a 50 odd million release clause. You could go and do that. But nobody's worth the price. Football is gone now. Very rarely do you see players that are value for money at the time. That doesn't mean Dons are not going to go on and get better things. But as you lot know, potential is the biggest buzzword. It goes to managers, it goes to players, in my opinion. It's never what you're doing right now. To a degree, obviously, Caicedo's playing all right, but it's what you could be in the future. So we either get these Caicedos, these Mudryks, these kind of guys before they become household names, or you pay the asking price. And reality is, at 21 years of age, Obviously, the skill set he has isn't really, he's not going to be a match winner and things, but if he develops, he's consistent, then a bit like Benjamin White, quite frankly, who cares really and truly? Big up DG. If we can't get Caicedo, I'd really want Andre from Fluminense. I'm surprised Edu hasn't moved for him. Monaco offered 8 million for Sambi that got rejected swiftly. Yeah, man, come with a better thing. I don't think Caicedo is worth the price tag. He probably isn't. 31 played 31 games for Brighton, done well for them and at the World Cup. 31 times, 60, 75 million. But again, it's put up or shut up. You have to pay an inconvenience fee. As I said, you buy him, Brighton have to find a replacement, and that has a knock-on effect. If Brighton find the Moses Caicedo 2.0, whatever team he's at, they're going to say, listen, you're messing up our season of what we're trying to do because we are midway through a season. We know you've just got the bag from, we know you just got the bag from Arsenal as well. Give us some bread in it, really and truly. A bit like Arsenal probably indirectly showed their hand, different position, but Mudryk was willing to commit significant sums. I know we got Trossard for a deal. Brighton, don't forget that, really and truly. So it all really depends. Yo, bro, seen certain Arsenal fans put in Lokonga and Holding in the starting 11s for today. Man, want us to lose. Come on now, man. It's Manchester City. Man, are acting like we're playing Oxford. George, I hope you're having a better day. Have a feeling we closed Caicedo, offering 60 million outright. We would have got something from Caicedo's agents that a deal can be done. Of course it could be, but, you know, Caicedo's got to put pressure on Brighton. We just have to dot I's and cross T's. It is what it is. I think there's clearly enough encouragement from his agents or new agents that this can be done, but you need to agree a fee with his club. It's a bit like Mudryk. Mudryk can do all the talking he wants on social media. You know, Arteta and Edu can arouse his imagination about playing for Arsenal, but you need an agreement. And there has to be a certain time, like you saw with Mudryk, that we walk away. So while I would like Caicedo or, you know, Declan Rice looks like a summer attempt, would love to wake up and we're getting him in January, we need other options, which obviously, let's think about it logically. Whether we bring players in or not is a completely different conversation. But Arsenal, I'd hate to say business, but in terms of business, it's a, you know, multi-million-pound business. There's bare scouting software. There's bare scouts. We've known we've needed a central middle really to address central mid regions from when we even brought in Partey. So there has to have been plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D targets. So again, we tried only go so far, man. Holding, Cedric, Lokonga, Nelson, time to go. Who thinks Tavares will come back a different player? If he can improve defensively, he'll be a decent player. And if we let Tierney go for a significant fee, could be all right. Sambi leads to go. Caicedo cover for Partey, Rice cover for Xhaka. Is Declan Rice and Caicedo both centre defensive mids? Does that mean we aren't going for Rice in the summer? It doesn't mean anything. I think both their strengths are probably sixes. I do think Arteta probably deems that he can get more of a trick out of Declan Rice in an attacking sense. So, yeah, man. DG, how would we line up if we do get Caicedo and Rice in the summer? Boy, I don't know. It's a good problem to have, really. It gives you an option of having several midfield targets, but you'd imagine Xhaka and Partey would still start next season, but probably need to get Caicedo. I'd say Declan Rice more so direct replacement, and then it's a rotating thing. But give Arteta some good problems. I prefer Zubimendi, bring him, but he said he wants to stay. Good to see the comments. I don't think our fan base has been toxic. We just want to see our club try. We need a defensive mid now. Could cost us the Prem. What do you think of the Decore at Palace? Good player, but he's just got his feet on the door at Crystal Palace, really. We're in dire need of a defensive mid. If we can't get Caicedo, perhaps test Aston Villa's resolve again for Douglas Luiz with 40-50. Nah, man. I mean, Douglas Luiz, sorry, is a good player. Could have been a good opportunity to take advantage of a situation, but nah, I'm not really feeling the 40-50. If we get Caicedo, DG, I would want someone with a bit more sauce than Rice in the summer. Too many piano pushers. Reports saying Arsenal activate Zubimendi's release clause if Caicedo moves fails, and the player has greenlit the move this month. Have you got an article? Declan Rice ain't good enough, especially in the Champions League. Outside of England, no one wants Declan Rice. He's been linked with Madrid. I somewhat disagree, but fair enough, man. If we get Zubimendi, I'm so happy. I don't know why people are not talking about him more. You know that madman from West London will hijack any Caicedo bid. And this is why the dream is free. The hustle is sold separately. Brighton have all the cards they know. If people want him, they will pay. Transfer market is so overpriced nowadays. Amen. Everybody's finessing everybody. Foreign clubs finesse us. We're trying to finesse. We got linked with Dani Almo. Apparently, you know, he's got a 70-odd million pound release clause to Spanish clubs, and that rises by about 10 million quid for clubs abroad, like specifically in the UK. Is what it is. DG, random question, but how good can Saka get? The world's that man's oyster. How bad does he want to improve? How good, you know, if he scores 2 goals, how badly does he want to say, oh, I should have scored 3? Saka's got the world at his feet. I think he's got a great mentality. He's part of a great structure and has a great coach. But to reach them higher levels, it's about how bad you want it. You look at Messi, you look at Ronaldo. They've had every reason just to coast by their own standards. They're at the pinnacle, but both of them wanted that bit more. I think we should go up to 75 million for Caicedo on a 5.5-year deal. Only leaves us making 2 signings in the summer to beef up for the Champions League. Rice and a right winger. I'm not too sure Arteta would agree. Can see Trossard having a good one today. 20 to go on, bring him on. Fair enough. I think he might start today. I just want the club to get what they want. And Edu, if there is something to improve, got to be quicker in some transfers and not sit and wait. Have to know when to do something. Did Luis sign an extension? Yes, he did. People, options, please. I ain't trying to see Lokonga or El Nene off the bench. And to be fair, when El Nene's not there, Rance said Saka is a faster Milner. I'm tired. I mean, big up Rance. He's allowed his own opinions, but Rance doesn't support Arsenal, and it doesn't really matter in that regards what he thinks about Bukayo Saka. You know, he's done what he's needed to do on a football pitch, and he plays for our club. Who would you go for, DG? Not a clue, man. DG, I know you know about Enzo Lafree, Verratti regen, doing my research. Big claim to be Verratti, but we've done a video on him. He would be decent, probably of a significant levels below what we're talked about in the market at the moment. Do you think Arsenal will beat City tonight? I hope so, man. I really do. You know, that's why I'm not really here for some people saying rest players and all this jazz, really. You know, I'm not being funny, but it's Manchester City. Back again, folks. I think we need a striker and we should go for Felix in the summer. I mean, it all depends what he's doing at Chelsea. And then they might leave for Villa. So what about a swap deal with Douglas Luiz? I mean, he's injured at the moment. DGS Smith Rowe has been bad with injuries. This is becoming a worry. He's had the same recurring injury. Hopefully he can get over it. I spent 500 million in free windows on FM at Arsenal. Kroenke activated the cash. But you call me a checkbook manager in that game. Think we left the centre defensive mid backup thing for too long. Should have done the business earlier. I mean, when the market shut in the summer, and Douglas Luiz, Danilo, Telemans, these things didn't bang. In the ideal world, first week of January, we'd have confirmed the midfield signing. But that's just not how the cookie has crumbled, unfortunately. Someone said Zubimendi. Let me make sure we've got some latest reports on him, people. All right. Slap that there. Smash the like button. Loving you lot's talking points, people. Again, football is a subjective game. Nobody is right. Nobody is wrong. Please do me a favor. Set your reminders for Arsenal versus City. There's a link. Even if you're not going to be there, hit the like button. Football is always a sport. The problem is our love of the sport, the common man and woman's love for football has been harvested by the bigger heads. And that's why we pay through the nose for, match tickets, what they call them things again, like TV box sets and TV deals to be able to watch the games. More time, if Arsenal get to a Champions League final or any final, a lot of normal fans are not going to be able to go there. Nothing to do isolated to Arsenal, whatever. But we all know influencers and fat cats and money men are going to take up the tickets, really. So it's a peak one. Zubimendi for sure. Caicedo is playing good one season and now overpriced. I mean, if Mikel wants him, overpriced or not, I'm here for it. I agree with you about Zubimendi, but sometimes you've got to overpay for players. I'm not saying we should or shouldn't do that for Caicedo, but sometimes you've got to do it. From a business point of view, Liverpool, I'm sure, didn't want to pay what they paid for Alisson. Definitely not Naby Keita, but away from him, I'm sure they didn't want to pay what they paid for Alisson or Van Dijk. But it pays off in other ways. If you want these players that are held in high demands, the Pedro Neto, and I'm not saying everybody's worth it, but the pursuit of Pedro Neto, the incoming Declan Rice, if you wanted to get in the Jude Bellingham debate, Mudryk when Chelsea got in, you rightly or wrongly, you got to put the P's down. You either put the P's down or you scout to find these players before it happens, or you have alternatives in different markets and things. You've always got options. You either get to where the game's going, and we have shown we'd overspend. You could argue at the time of buying Ramsdale, at the time of buying Benjamin White, we did overpay. Obviously, we did for Pepe. We got Deluded. We're just going to have to firm that one. You can't always find the deal. You can't always overpay. And you can't always try and find the deal. You need to find that healthy balance, really. Kudus would be lit. Resting players at Big Man City, my fellow Gooner's chests are way too high. Too high, bro. Too high. And I'm not being funny. Logically, it don't make sense to be resting players. I hear it with injuries and people need games, but City's not the game for that. We play in over a week after tonight against Everton, who apparently are employing Sean Dyche. Everton, we got to go to Goodison Park and get a result. Caicedo, for me, Premier League experience, monster in tackling, energetic and quick. Arsenal need to top up a bit to 75 million. I must admit, 75 million is a bit mad for them. My personal bias is I'd rather spend them kind of monies on midfielders and I'm not saying we're going to get him, but Jude Bellingham or guys that skill sets are more tailored around match winning stuff. I'm not really for spending that on defensive midfielders, but I'm here for it, man. DG, do you think Balogun and Tavares have a place in the squad next season? And how much would we get if they was to go? I mean, Balogun, he's contracted until 2025, so we're going to have to pattern a new deal. But for me, we need to be getting 30, 40 odd million euros for him. Tavares, can you just make more than 8 million? And it's in the balance. It's down to Mikel Arteta. Maybe if certain players leave, if they show certain improvements, Arteta will bring them in. But you'd imagine that they're more so Tavares, they're cash earners, really, because Tavares is doing good at Marseille, despite getting sent off in a couple dodgy performances. But I wouldn't say there's significant improvement in what I want to see. I just need Tavares to look a bit more solid defensively. And everybody goes mad when they see him score goals, and that great. But we know them, they're your strengths there. You know, we need to know you're good defensively. And for me, I've always said I think Tavares is extremely overrated in the final third. Cool, he's quick and them things there, but there's no point getting past 3-4 players. You've got 2 or 3 good options of people in good positions where they could score. You're banging it over the bar with your right foot. And him in the final third is irrelevant. I think Tierney's better than him in there. Zinchenko has taken it up a gear now. You've obviously got the luxury of Tomiyasu left back, where you could argue indirectly he's the second choice for Tierney, whose days unfortunately might be numbered, really. So I'm not too sure, really and truly. You'd have to look at it from a different perspective. Big up DG. Don't mind paying more for Caicedo, but we all know Brighton's waiting for big money. Chelsea also know how. Also, how comes nobody wants our deadbeats Pablo, Marie, Pepe? If we can sell them to, then yes. I mean, Pepe, we're going to probably have to take 10 million euros or something. His contract is running down. He's on big money. We do need to move him on. Cedric Suarez, who's going on a dry loan, and in theory, if Fulham don't take him, would return back to Arsenal with a year left. He's on 100 bags. You'd imagine Pepe's on like over 100 bags. So let's just call that 250 resources being wasted that could be reinvested to the transfer kitty, for instance, giving that money to Saliba, Martinelli, Saka, and anyone else who needs deals. Pablo Marie, if Monza stay up, we get our money in it. DG, everybody rates players on pace. When you watch Tavares, he's meaty, even attacking wise. Go ahead for Caicedo. Perfect situation now. Beat Chelsea one time. How much for Tierney if he wants out? I mean, 30, 40, maybe 50 if Newcastle go for him. I'd cry if Tierney left, but I can understand it, really. But for Tierney, stay, bro. You know, this is your first time being number 2. You can't have it both ways. If you want the club to be more competitive, this is what you got to do. There might be a time where Zinchenko, for everything he's doing, he's looking shaky. That's where Tomiyasu, Tierney, or in the ideal world, it'd be great for Tavares to show something, man. 75 million for a player is 75 million for Caicedo is mad for a player with only 26 appearances in the Prem. Great business and great finesse from Brighton, man. James, big up the YouTube members. It's not just the clubs that have inflated players' fees. It's supply versus demand. Quality 6/8 are rare as rocking horse. Like you said, you've got to pay the P's, man. I don't understand how Arteta and Edu left cover for Partey this late. They know quite well Partey gets injured a lot. To be fair, he hasn't this season. Our season will crumble if anything ever happens to him. Touch wood, it doesn't. Amen. Wouldn't be a nice headache to have to fit in 4 of Thomas, Granit, Caicedo, and Rice. Amen, bro. Arsenal have to pay what Brighton want because Partey will go down at some point. The league is on the line, man. We got to put our chips down. Hopefully, we get it done. Big up DG. Yes, DG. You reckon if we get Caicedo, then it's curtains for our bid for Telemans. 2 very different sorts of players, bro. So maybe yes, maybe not. I think Telemans, I don't know, man. You do see some reports that he wants 200 bags a week. He wants to wait until the end of the season to assess his own options. So I understand it, man. I really understand it. I think there's an admiration for Telemans. I think we like Telemans. I think we'd bring him in. But I don't think it's like we're going to die if we don't get Telemans. You lot are violating people. There's over 300 of you locked in on YouTube. Twitch gang, you're my favorites. We still only got 90 likes. What's going on there? We get to 100 likes, or we look at the transfer news, people. DG, my opinion, we might as well go full on Declan Rice. Seems like a summer bid, bro. I reckon White can step in defensive mid over Kyrgios. I mean, they both could do it. But let's just keep one at right back and centre half as much as we can, and one at centre half, left-sided centre back. If they can show their versatility and adaptability, then fair play in it. But it is what it is. But we do need options. We could be shedding a few from the squad in the summer. El Nene, Lokonga, and some others. I'd probably, if we get Champions League football, I'd hold on to El Nene for a season. Pardon me, but if you could get rid of him for a decent fee, why not? Lokonga probably needs to touch the loan. As we all know, the Ainsley Maitland-Niles is unfortunately Reece Nelson, Pablo Marie, Cedric on 100 bags, Pepe as well. These sort of players might need to keep it moving. Do not sell Tavares. Arteta just needs to reimagine a role for him. This dude can be our bell. Trust. Caicedo now and Rice in the summer. That'll go top for us. Come on. Rice ain't leaving this window. West Ham fans will go nuts. I reckon. Oh, sorry, I've already seen that. What else have we got? Personally, I think Smith Rowe's time is up. Next season, I've been saying this from the start of last season. I think we sell him and go for the RB Chiesa, Leao, or the Napoli Don. Trust. I bet you Pep's going to take this FA Cup fixture seriously for ego's sake. Well, he should, didn't it? If he didn't, you know, being Pep Guardiola, there'd be issues. Big up yourself, Lewis. Rate Rance's ball knowledge, but swear he said Black James Milner. That's where he can say what he big up Rance, but he can say what he wants because obviously James Milner's never been elite in the team, but James Milner has played football from 16 years of age to now in his 30s and still playing at a big team. You know, fortunately, as long as people can say what they want about Saka, innit? Just keep doing your business. You know, the good thing is talking's done on a football field. Big up Rance. They both could be probably groomed to play 8s and 6s. DG's heart is burning here in the Smith Rowe disrespect. Of course it is, but boy, you know, Smith Rowe always proves doubters wrong, innit? Like, I don't need to do the talking thing. Man, know what Smith Rowe's on. He's our number 10 for a reason. If it doesn't work out for him, great. But Stellan Smith Rowe be idiotic. He's our number 10. Let's not forget how he carried this team on his back along with Bukayo Saka. I know football isn't about the past, but let's have some bloody respect for Emil Smith Rowe. And I ain't trying to sell him. And even that, he's a good squad player as well. He's our number 10. He had a great season last year. You know, come through the academy, doing the business with Saka. Now it gets real. Now, you know, you've missed out on 6 months. Martinelli's taking your place on the left. Odegaard's going from strength to strength. You've seen Trossard and Fabio Vieira and Zinchenko, players that can play in other roles, players that are playing more football than others, you know, but can play in your role. This is the reality. We want a more competitive side. As much as we've got togetherness and all of those sort of things, we're not here to make friends. It's you're starting or I'm starting, and that goes for everyone around this side. We're together. Everyone cheers everyone. But if you want to play, go and play. It was easy to play when you've got bare duds around, really. You know, Saka would not still be playing if he wasn't doing the business. One day there's going to be a right winger that genuinely is going to give Bukayo Saka issues and etc. all around the side. You can't call for a more competitive side and then cry when there's depth. They said, don't bring Smith Rowe, don't bring Odegaard in. We've got Smith Rowe. Now, man, are saying get rid of Smith Rowe. Fair enough. Fair enough. Keep your opinions coming. Elite opinions, people. Where are we like? Where are we at? You know what? F it, man. Let's go for the bigging, people. It's Friday, sorry. It definitely isn't Sunday. We've got 118 likes. We get to 200. We look at what the papers are saying. Let's go for the biggin, man. Let's do a thing. Smith Rowe, centre defensive mid, let him cook. Where did this Smith Rowe crap come from? Sorry, I just joined. I don't know. Everyone's allowed an opinion, bro. Please give Arteta headaches. Amen. Positive headaches. If Brighton don't budge on Caicedo, should we bid for Seko Fofana? It could be an option. He can play there. Smith Rowe is mad talented, going through growing pains, and he's one of our role. He deserves more time. I think if I'm Smith Rowe, I think he should fight for the 8 role if he can be an out-and-out midfielder. Right now, if I'm Smith Rowe, I hear you. I think I could play 10. I think I could play 8. I think I could play off the left. But reality is, I want to do so well in training or any opportunities that Arteta has no reason to not play me. You know, Arteta might think, yeah, I need Smith Rowe in the team. Let me play him instead of Odegaard. I can't get rid of Odegaard. Let me put him on the left. Nah, there's Martinelli. There's Trossard. Let me try something else. Saka's over there. Should I move Xhaka or Partey? No, I can't do that. Rice and Caicedo and all these things are going on defensively. You know, Tierney's playing so well. Let me get rid of Zinchenko. I can't drop Zinchenko. I might want to play Tomiyasu, but Ben White's not going to play. Let me play Ben White in defense. Ross, Saliba and Gabriel are there. Headaches. How much since Arteta's been here, he's had headaches with Pepe, with Ozil, with Aubameyang, with Guendouzi, with Mustafi, Socrates. I don't even like doing Socrates dirty, but Mustafi, Socrates, giving him headache. Give him some good headaches with legitimate players. Xhaka's IQ is underrated. At this point, people can say what they want about Xhaka, but if they underrate what he has in terms of a footballer, in terms of his intelligence, then they're just acting now, innit? Josh, appreciative to you. If you're on Twitch, make sure you're subscribing with Amazon Prime at no extra cost. One love for you, resubscribing, my guy. Big up DG and the nation. We needed to put 80 million instead of 60. It's the first bid. Whether we get him or not, it's a business thing. Shout out the Kenyans and shout yourself, Frank. I hope we do bring Caicedo. Bro, you're a don. Only because you lot are. Love your chat about Arsenal and in general. Appreciate that. Stick with Smith Rowe. Come through. Amen. Bro, man wanted to write off Odegaard, you know. And, you know, again, people wanted to write off Odegaard. People wanted to write off Eddie, myself included. Well, I didn't really write him off. I said I don't really see him doing this sort of thing, which we've been surprised. Let man cook. If guys show you that you should give up on them, give up on them. But come on now. Come on now. Smith Rowe just isn't mad talented like that. You don't need to be mad talented. Was Ray Parlour mad talented? One of my favorite Arsenal players. Big game player he was, though. You just need to be competent, consistent, and confident in your abilities. Not everyone can be a madman. Arsenal should go for him, and in the summer for Rice or with Ward-Prowse as an option. Summer sell Lokonga. He just feels uncomfortable. I saw Gabriel. I don't know about that tweet. Arsenal have to be smart how they reintegrate Smith Rowe back into the team. They've done the same with Tomiyasu and Martinelli. Fans can be so reactionary. RD, tell him again. Cabby, where you been? You've been missing for a minute. It's time to show our patience for the number 10. Very unfortunate with injuries. Amen. Once again, give Arteta some legitimate headaches, man. Go and give him some big headaches. You know, if we want to be a team that can genuinely compete for the league, not just making this an anomaly of a season, genuinely compete for that Premier League trophy, do the business either in the Europa League or the Champions League, keep winning FA Cups, because as Arsenal, we've got a fetish for such. Do what we can in the League Cup and any other things. Let's go. And also, it's how your team is at your worst when there's suspensions, loss of form, bust-ups with the managers. How good can you be then? It's a long season. It's a demanding season, and we've been fortunate with injuries, but we've had them. Good options. You know, I know the starting 11 right now has been set in stone, but it's not always going to be that. You see Pep's press conference, some interesting insights. I've seen little sound bites. Oh, people were saying Saka can't play right wing and all these things. People were saying Tomiyasu's done. If it wasn't for Smith Rowe, Martinelli wouldn't have got in the team. Give man respect. And again, big up Martinelli from pre-season. He's ran with it. Bro, I got opportunity to stop being on the bench. Let me up it. Because no one's going to give me minutes. I don't want Arteta. I'm sure in a nice way. I'm sure Arteta, like myself, would be saying, in a nice way, in life, if things were fair, we'd all have a lot less, you know, really and truly. I'm sure Arteta wants to give everybody minutes, wants everyone to play. Harsh thing is, he's got to get Arsenal back to where they need to do. His job is on the line. Nobody is playing because they're a nice person, beyond the obvious. You're playing because you're the right guy. And if you're not the right guy, go and make yourself the right guy. Do you think Arteta would prefer Xhaka's replacement to be left-footed because of the position he takes up? Potentially, but when you look at some of the midfielders we're linked with, it's a bit irrelevant. DG, thoughts on Martin Keown saying Saka would walk into the invincible side? It's an interesting debate, but boy, I'm here for it. I'm still not seeing this Martinelli hype. Bro, you just keep doing your job on the football pitch. No one needs to see it, really. I think Martinelli's a bad boy footballer with a fantastic future ahead of him. But yeah. Big up, DG. Love your work, bro. Don't forget, people, we get to 200 likes. We look at actually what the tabloids are saying. And again, big up you lot for your talking points, man. This has been a lovely live stream so far. Hopefully, when we play City later, you lot all join me, people. Smash the like button on such. It should be pinned to the message. It will be across Twitch and YouTube. Love your work. If we can get Caicedo and Caicedo, it would be really nice. Caicedo's not landing, bro. He's not landing. Smith Rowe utility is now. It is what it is. We're upgrading now. Go and make yourself first name on the team sheet. DG, do you know who would be a good squad member who could play on the flank, shadow striker and striker who plays more like Jesus up front than Nketiah? Danny Welbeck. Danny Welbeck was a very underrated squad player. I was on the verge of tears when we signed Welbeck, man. I'm happy to see he's doing well. Peeps were writing off White, Tomiyasu and Ramsdale. This is football, innit? Just needs to keep doing what they're doing. Caicedo, Savic, Partey, Odegaard, Xhaka and Maddison. Now that is a Champions League squad and still able to go hard in the Prem. I don't know about bringing in some of those names there, people. The dream is free. The hustle is sold separately, but why not? Nuno gets 20 to 25 making money for him, but Nuno, man, saying in an interview he was attacking, should have said something. I'm not being funny. When he signed for us, I told you lot everything with Nuno Tavares. That is a man who probably got to 16 and they said, you maybe are not going to make the grade as a winger. We're going to make you a left back. You lot, some of you were here when he signed for the club and we was reading his interview, and a fullback, even though I know the modern day fullback, you got to be in attacking sense. Even now, you got to do the inverted thing. But a fullback is not telling you about 1v1. He relishes 1v1 battles and things. He literally said, I like to shoot with my right foot. There you have it. So hopefully he can develop, but sometimes things are just going to go wrong. We're just going to need to nip things in the bud and keep it moving. 157 likes, people, over half the way there yet. We get to 200. We look at the transfer news. I never wanted Welbs, neither did I, but he was a good player for us. Go and drop the bag on Zubamendi and we move. I don't know about walking into the invincible. Saka is top class, but Freddie Longberg was scoring 20+ goals and assists almost the same for years. I mean, if Keown's saying it, then I have to take his word. But yeah, as you said, I don't know about walking into. But yeah, DG, I forgot about Patino. Keep letting him slow cook, man. He'll get there. Sky Sports reported that Brighton has turned down our bid. DG, do you think Edu will up the bid or should we go for Zubamendi? Both. You up the bid, you try your best to find an agreement with Brighton. If that can't happen, then you try and get Zubimendi and try and force his hand. I know he's come out and said, "Oh, I don't want to leave Sociedad," but you know, you have to do something. Or if you can't get both of them, try a next thing. Make sure something happens. Wild Odegaard slander at the start. It was evident he was a talent and his vision and timing was always ahead of others on the pitch with him. We've been through the trenches. You think we're starting Trossard today? I think if anyone was to force Arteta to change his hand, I do think if Jesus was fit, he'd probably start ahead of Eddie and Nketiah, but that's not a thing. I think Trossard for Martinelli, maybe Benjamin White for Tomiyasu is something. What do you think of Smith Rowe? When I look at him, he reminds me of Diaby. No, because he's actually been able to stay fit for large parts. He's just, this 6 months has been a bit telling for the man. Listen, I'm with Smith Rowe to the end of it. Like, I'm with Smith Rowe to the end of it. Imagine if our transfer signings were done on the whims of our fans. Have a little faith in the recruitment team. Why are we talking about 75 million like it's a little change? Tell them again. Elite conversation here, people. No one's right, no one's wrong. We seem to have a very good relationship with Brighton. Very, very handy club to have a good relationship with. Rodrigo would be a shout for backup for Saka. Rodrigo will be lit, and he done a madness. Patino, slow cook, exactly, good word, DG. Arteta said it, and it's right. Mad offer, apparently want Caicedo and Rice in the summer. Let's go. We're doing bits. Big statement of ambition. Andrew, you ain't told no lies. Zubimendi or Caicedo, who do you prefer? I really like Moses, but I really like Zubimendi. I think he's a bit different. I think if I was a manager just away from Arsenal, Zubimendi kind of plays that cultured role, kind of how I like. Like, he's nothing like Rodri, but he's a bit of a continental number 6, really, where Moses Caicedo can pass the ball. He's got a lot to bring, but he's more of a piano pusher. Like, he's a trenches baby. 100% DG. It discussed that we don't have any big European trophies and more Premier League titles. We fell behind, so we want to compete in all fronts. We need a big quality squad. There are many other players out there better and cheaper than Caicedo. And I mean, that's just down for the gaffer to explore if we can't bring him. My uncle who supports Chelsea told me Smith Rowe reminds him of Zizou. I mean, uncle's moving a bit mad, but big up uncle, man. Tell him to come support Arsenal. 171 likes, over 400 of you locked in. Unexpected high bills due if you don't hit that. We come back to the Champions League next season. Next players for that. Caicedo now with 75 million is fine. I don't like we go with some ones for 20 to 30 anymore. Do you know what? It probably is overpriced. But again, if we could get better at selling players, you know, for guys that might not make it. For example, if Balogun, for example, turns into a 30, 40 million pound player, you get your 30, 40 million from that. Then Caicedo, the true price of Caicedo or anyone else, what is it? Really, because there has been times, had we have sold Nelson, Ainsley, these kind of guys for decent fees, we need to get better at selling. If you're selling a bit better, then maybe you can take a punch. And with Caicedo, at worst comes to worst, he may never justify that price tag, but he'll be a competent player for years to come, really and truly. So again, you either sign these guys before they get to Brighton, you either give Brighton what they asked for, or you explore the market for other opportunities that you have up your sleeve. You've got 3 options. What you can't do is say, we tried to do all of this and got none done. Arsenal fans actually think they can sign Caicedo. I don't know, man. Arsenal will now consider whether to make an improved bid for Caicedo or turn to other targets with Sociedad, Zubimendi, a cheap alternative. Make something happen. I mean, I don't think we get Caicedo over the line because I think these men will play hardball. But see what you're doing, innit? Is that a real journalist, though? What a name. Oh, he works for the Times. Fair enough, lad. Let me make sure that we ain't missing out anything as well. Because you imagine now, by the time we've been speaking, everybody's probably added their own little spin onto this story and things like that, people. Well, we can't look at the Times because it's behind the paywall. But we can have that over here. One love for you lot, keep me up to date. Club is moving from either or with players to both, and that's progress. Moses and Declan talk, for example, serious progress in play. If we actually do something or something similar. I mean, hopefully it's better than Mudryk and Felix shouts for bringing in both. Who's DJ? Last time I checked, I'm not Spence. We should have been taking hearts. What? We should be talking. I don't know what you're saying there, Omo, my guy. Zubimendi will fit us like a glove. Big up DGA. Man, the Brighton raid continues. We ain't got it done, though. Brighton wants 75 to 85. You haven't put the money down or keep it moving. Everyone thinks the money is small when it's not theirs. I mean, it's none of our money, whether it's a pound or not. We're not accountants. If Arsenal put the money down, great. If he succeeds, great. Because the reality is, if he does the job, no one cares. But what I would say, whether you rate Edu or Arteta or not, whether the signing would work out or not, they're not going to put that money down if they're not genuinely convinced of the guy or there's some encouragement behind it. Whether you get the deal over the line is a completely different entity. 183 likes, people. Keep it moving. We're almost at 200. Onana wants a move. He wants to get out of Everton. Another one we've been linked with. Brighton are the new Southampton club being... I don't know about that, because they're actually good at reinvesting, man. But then again, you're all right. You know, maybe bucking these seaside towns will help us. I think we should buy a better defensive midfielder than Caicedo. But let's see. Big up, DG. Great content. You know your stuff, my guy. Andrew, thank you very much, man. We've got nothing to lose. Do you think we'll bid 75? At some point, we have to walk away. It's already become a bit excessive for Caicedo. In an ideal world, that's a 20, 30 odd million pound player. But we live in an inflated market where it's not what the player's worth. It's not what they've done. It's about potential. And do you want it? Because he's worth even more probably to Brighton. He helps them with what they're doing this season. They know they've got an appreciating asset, because God knows when for them, because them and the first time I ever heard Moses Caicedo, Man United and Brighton were trying to sign him, and apparently United got Antonio Valencia. The report said to chat to him. It didn't bang. He went to Brighton. So they were scouting man for a long time. If we had signed Mudryk, what would have that actually meant for Nelson? I mean, it's peak for Nelson. I'd hope he signs a new deal. I'd badly want it to work out for Nelson, but quite frankly, it's peak for him right now. His peak, you know, it looked like he was laying down the mark of his 2 goals, but his peak. Hearing that we tried after we signed no one is going to hurt, I can't lie. DG Arteta has placed big emphasis on physicality. I don't think Zubimendi has that. Any thoughts? I think he's more physical than you're giving credit for. We Arsenal fans are accountants. I'll leave it to you. A sport that only has 3 world-class players, yet average players costing 75 million and up. How? I don't know what you said there. I think you mean pathetic. I mean, you either get with the times or not. I'm not saying you're wrong, but you either cry like Wenger did, or you get with the times, or you find a balance. 52.5 odd million quid, Tim, for Zubimendi. He's got a release clause. My bad, I'm on the codeine. Stop doing that, man. We should take some of this bread and lure Brighton's recruitment team. Amen. DG, respectfully, Charlie can't play as a lone 6 in the Prem. We'll get bulldozed as a double pivot or 8 that can run. When did I say Charlie Patino as a number 6? He can play the number 6. It's a different sort of role, and he's not ready to do that right now. Slow cook the guy. Big up, DG. Is there any news on Reece Nelson return date? Also, I wonder what happens with Ainsley, Pepe, and Balogun at the end of the season. Well, Ainsley, Maitland-Niles, and Pepe, they're probably gone. Balogun, I guess he has to have a discussion with Mikel Arteta. Where does Arteta think he's at right now? Where does he develop? Are you going to stay for at least the first half of next season in the Champions League and try and break in? Are you going to go on loan back to Reims or another, or to a Premier League club, or definitely to a top 5 division? Because arguably, if we're in the Champions League, we have to be a lot harsher. There's less chances for young players, per se, beyond a certain point. I like Onana, but I've heard today, unlike Anthony Gordon, he wants to stay and help Everton. Fair play to the man. I heard Smith Rowe's injury is gutting. Might have to sell in the summer. It's a shame what a player. Less said that. I would keep Ainsley Maitland-Niles, such a versatile player and can play both wing positions. Yeah, but what is he a master of? I mean, I hear you, but the time's gone for Ainsley now, isn't it? It really is. His versatility is a bit irrelevant. He can play on both flanks. You've got Tomiyasu there, and you've got several other players. If he can lay down a marker at Southampton, which I don't think he's doing right now, fair play. You're not getting a snowball's chance in midfield. Arteta clearly ain't that convinced with you in midfield. Fullback is a bit of irrelevance now. If you were to sign Fresnadar, you've got Tomiyasu and Benjamin White. On the face of it, you've got Tomiyasu who can play left back. You've got Zinchenko, and you've obviously got Tierney, depending on what happens there. And even though I think Tavares and Ainsley as fullbacks, it depends what you want to see. It's a myth, man. And that's where I was saying we need to get better at selling. Sometimes beyond a certain point, we just have to know, all right, this guy's come through our academy. He's hung around for a bit. He's probably not going to get to that level. God forbid, there might even come a time where we have to get rid of Eddie and Nketiah. If we find this next wavy striker that's better than Jesus, and Eddie's developed to a certain point, we might have to keep it moving. We do need a homegrown quota, but I don't think that's going to impact Ainsley Maitland-Niles, man. There's no sporting reason to keep Ainsley Maitland-Niles. And this is someone who would badly want Ainsley to make a case here. I'm willing to bet you a lot of money, really, that Ainsley Maitland-Niles' future at Arsenal is done. Kudamani could be good. If we win the Prem, I believe it adds maybe an additional 5 to 15 million on some of our fringe players. I'm not too sure about that. Sell Balogun with a buyback clause. Rarely do you see these things. He needs regular playing time to fully develop, and we can have him back if he shows more quality. Caicedo would fit perfectly in Mikel's project. He's got the qualities. I mean, I'm not saying, anyone that wants to keep Ainsley Maitland-Niles, for me, it's an emotional pull, really. It's not really a sporting front now, if I'm completely honest with you. He's not even going to get ahead of El Nene. The one man he's probably ahead of is Lokonga. And if you're not in front of Lokonga in the midfield options, then that probably tells you your days are numbered, I don't know, folks. Keep your opinions coming, people. Imagine Camavinga at the carpet. I do imagine, and then I wake up, the dream is free, the hustle is sold separately. DJ, in an alternative universe, we signed Martinez instead of Zinchenko. How do you think he would fit into our current setup? He could play left back, but at the time, you know, we bought him. He only played 12 times as a left back. The majority of us scouting Lisandro Martinez had to have been as a centre half. So I reckon he plays centre half. Tierney and Tomiyasu probably fight out at fullback. 75 million to hold benches. Pricey it is, but this is the game. Man City have 100 million Grealish on the bench. United have had Anthony, Pogba, all of these, Ronaldo. None of these guys at times who have cost big money, whether they've been bought for big money or big wages, have ever really been in the starting. They have, but spent time on the bench. It comes with it. You know, look at Chelsea's bench. I'm not saying spend money for the sake of it. Ainsley would have been a better option this season for the squad than Cedric. Cedric, who's played once in the league, if that. Again, this is not... I hear you. But when you're comparing to these kind of men, it tells you, let's keep it moving. I mean, I believe in Ainsley. He's got capacity, but we're getting better and better. Players are not waiting. And I would love for Ainsley to make it, but where? You're not going to play left back right now. You're not going to get to looking at right back. Right now, you're not going to get a central midfielder. Again, especially in Dream World, if we were to get on top of Xhaka and Partey performing, you bring in Declan Rice and you bring in Caicedo, you're not going to get in. You're not even getting ahead of Lokonga, really and truly. For me, with Ainsley, I would love for that to happen, but it's probably become that period now where and again, I'd badly love Reece Nelson to make it here. You probably need to divorce from Arsenal, and I know it's hard. You've probably been here since you were infant. You're part of the first team. It's a madness, and Ainsley needs stability. Every 6 months, it's a loan thing or whatever. You've been at Roma, you've been at Southampton, you've been here, kind of half here. It's time to keep it moving. And are we forgetting my man's social media antics as well? I just want to play. And if we're comparing man to Cedric and these kind of man, it's peak for them as well. Like, it's peak. Wait to sell Eddie till he plays for England. English taxes. I'm not saying sell Eddie right now. I'm just saying, just giving talking points, really. Love for the super chat, man. Ainsley's time is done at Arsenal, unfortunately. He should have knuckled down and played fullback. I disagree because he's always said he wants to play fullback, man. He's not, but clearly Arteta isn't 100% convinced. Ainsley has done very little. If you're not getting minutes at the team who are desperate for a centre mid at the bottom of the league, the writing's on the wall, stealing living. A bit harsh saying, man, stealing living. DJ, I appreciate your analysis. Fair and spot on, man. I appreciate that, man. If you guys don't invest, I reckon you have a tough time next season. Guys, hit the like button. We're watching the best Arsenal YouTube soloists out there. DJ's come a long way with this thing. I don't know about any of that, but the praise, man. Thank you very much. We keep working, man. We take the hate and the praise in balance, and we keep working, man. Shout out American Gunner. This reminds me of the Douglas Luiz saga. We tried hard to get him, but Villa won't budge. Roberto De Zerbi said he's a good player. He's focused only on Brighton. I hope he can stay with us until the end of the season because, in my opinion, it's the best solution for us. I spoke with him on Wednesday and told him my opinion. Nothing new there. You'd expect the manager to say that. You know, obviously, he's going to say that. Brighton are going to play hardball. It doesn't help him to say he's going to leave. Really and truly, you know, he didn't exactly freeze out even Leandro Trossard. Is his agent who came out and said, yo, we want to cut. He kind of opened the door and said, yo, you can be back in training regardless of what, you know, what these guys are going to say publicly and privately are going to be two different things. We need to remember it's all a bit of game. It's all a bit of gamesmanship essentially being played. I think it's important to keep a number of club players that have been with the club for a long time. If you replace them all, you just end up with a team of mercenaries. Not necessarily true because Arteta's flushed them out. And really, again, what are we keeping players for? You have to bring something to the table. You can't just get rid of and who in that squad really hasn't been here. You could argue for there's players that have been here for a decent amount of time. I know he hasn't quite been here, but Saliba's been here, El Nene's been here, Partey's been here, Saka, Smith Rowe definitely been here, Martinelli's been here a minute, Eddie's been here a minute, you know, and I'm sure there's a couple of others that are missing out. I just want the best players. I don't really care how long you've been here, how long you haven't been here, and things like that. American Gooner, you're way too kind. He's gifted out 5 community subs, people. You're way too kind. I like Ainsley, man. You know, if we ever get to a final and there's a penalty shootout, that's a man you'd want to take the pens. But time waits for no one. You know, for Ainsley Maitland-Niles to be the best Ainsley Maitland-Niles, he might have to divorce from Arsenal and go somewhere else. And we look and say, "Raw, what if?" Not everyone's going to progress. Some men are going to have to end up like Joe Willock. There's a little 30 million there. Move. And that pays for Odegaard quickly. You know, if we sold Balogun tomorrow, he's a young striker. We might look and say, "Raw, like he's become that guy." But you might have to just take your bread and keep it moving. To be fair, prior to Reece Nelson's injury, it looked like he was laying down a marker. And I think that's where I've kind of think it's over, because had he have not got that injury while we was persisting for a winger, when he come off the bench and scored those 2 goals, and he might have got an assist as well, I think that's where that's your time. Really and truly, man. Really and truly. Have we got 200 likes, people? Because we've got to be fair. 219 likes. Smash the like button. If you've hit the like button, one love, people. With that being said, a promise is a promise. Let's make sure everything makes sense over here. Let's make sure everything makes sense. Tab police, if I was you lot, look away now, because we're about to get into it, people. Smash the like button and all these things. I don't know why we didn't take 40 million for Ainsley Maitland-Niles, because them times there we were doing this either or. A player looks like they're leaving. They have one real good game, and then we move in it and they stay at the club, really. We're always in the halfway house. Rightly or wrongly, we got to make decisions, people. So, yeah, smash the like button, people, on this video. Also, don't forget we're watching Arsenal versus City later. Again, the first initial news, some of you would have seen a live stream come out by myself earlier today. I'm sure we all saw earlier did it today. Fabrizio Romano came out and said Arsenal have submitted a £60 million bid to sign Moses Caicedo as a new midfielder. Chelsea had a £55 million verbal proposal rejected this January as Brighton hoped to keep the player, but Arsenal are now pushing. Negotiations enter key stages for Caicedo's future. More on Moses Caicedo and Arsenal's exclusive story. Arsenal bidded £60 million fixed fee, no add-ons. Brighton rejected £55 million from Chelsea. They want to keep Caicedo. As we've previously been told, Liverpool, Chelsea and Arsenal are monitoring developments. He has a new agent, and in brackets, Caicedo has new agents. He told Brighton he'd love to take the opportunity. So privately, he's saying something different publicly. Dharma Sheffer said he is told Arsenal remain interested in Declan Rice for the summer, regardless of the outcome of the pursuit of Moses Caicedo. Brighton's stance on Moses remains unchanged following £60 million bid from Arsenal. No intention of selling, not for sale. Once again, David Ornstein has added on, and he has said Brighton rejects £60 million offer for Arsenal from Arsenal for Moses Caicedo. Once again, it's been rejected. Brighton's position is that Caicedo is not for sale in January, and this will not change. Arsenal are keen on the 21-year-old as they look to sign a central midfielder. They've been exploring a deal for Caicedo in recent days and have now made a firm move for him in the final days of the window, but Brighton have rejected the bid. So what made us do our research and think, yo, let's place a first bid? Because as you know, it's very rare that a first bid gets accepted. A new player in midfield was a long-term target for the Premier League leaders, but this has been obviously exaggerated by injury concerns over Mohamed El Nene, or exacerbated. The North London club do have considerable funds to strengthen the squad this window. Considerable funds. War chest settings, as shown by their failed pursuit of Mudryk. As you know, we're top of the Premier League allegedly, because I do not look at the league table, and we play Manchester City later on today. Let's see what De Zerbi has said. Moses Caicedo will not be distracted by Chelsea interest. This was 6 days ago. He said, the mentality of Moses is amazing. He doesn't need something more to know that big teams in Europe want him. Isn't a problem for him. He's 21, but like me, 43, because he's a good guy, smart guy, mature guy. He's a very important player, a strong player, a big player. He can become one of the best midfielders in Europe. For me, he is now, but in the next 2 years for sure, because he's technical, but he's strong, physical, he's complete. So, I mean, 75 million for someone that can become one of the best midfielders would be pocket change. Big up DJ. I think Ainsley Maitland-Niles' value is at rock bottom. It's very sad, and he can't have long on his contract. Please stop spamming. Please stop spamming. It's not going to get things answered. So, yeah, people, really and truly. The best solution is he can finish the season with us, and in the summer, it is better to change teams. If Moses continues to play like the last games, it's possible he can leave. So that tells you Robert De Zerbi said, listen, I've let Trossard go. I want to keep my squad together. Him, McAllister, anybody. Lamptey's even been linked with a move. He probably will be allowed to go until the summer, and then we'll look at situations. Moses Caicedo allegedly is ready to hand in a transfer request to force a move to Arsenal or Chelsea, as Gunners have £60 million bid rejected, with Brighton holding out for at least 20 million. Now, I'm not putting my heart behind this because his former manager, Graham Potter, is at Chelsea and he's been linked with Chelsea, and the dream is free, the hustle is sold separately. But for what it's worth, Arsenal are interested in signing him, people. We had a bid rejected. He is desperate for a move and is prepared to submit a transfer request, allegedly. We've got to remember it's the deadline next week, so we need to do what we're doing. 50 more gifted subs if Arsenal win today, bet. So get following on Twitch. You're far too kind, American Gooner. So, yeah, it is what it is. It remains to be... So, as you know, people, he's prepared to submit a transfer request to secure his dream move to London after Arsenal submitted a formal offer for him. It remains to be seen whether he is in the right frame of mind to face Liverpool in the FA Cup on Sunday. Our bid was rejected. We're set to return with an improved offer. A bid of around 80 million may tempt Brighton, who sold Trossard to Arsenal last week, into selling him. Chelsea also have a concrete interest in the midfielder, and news of Arsenal's offer may see the Stamford Bridge side accelerate a move. As we know, they stole Mudryk from us. Arsenal are keen to sign a new central midfielder to ensure their title push isn't derailed, with us lacking depth. As we know, El Nene is set to be out for a while with a knee injury, making us only rely on Xhaka and Partey. Hopefully, El Nene can show up as well. He had a good game in this game against us last year. Declan Rice is emerging as one of their top summer targets, with the 24-year-old widely expected to leave West Ham at the end of the season, but Arsenal are keen to strengthen now. The Gunners have significant funds available in the market, as demonstrated by their failed pursuit of Mudryk, people. So, yeah, it is what it is in that regards, people. I mean, is this the same... Is this the same article? This seems like a bit of a different one there, folks. Where did it go? I think I scrolled down far too much. Where did it go? There was something else with Moses Caicedo on the right-hand side. There it is. Let's see what this is. Well, this was that. Well, this is the first article they came out with. Well, in fact, it's the same thing, really. See? Never miss anything. Andy Naylor, who works for the Athletic, I think he's doing a bit too much, really. He said, honestly, these clubs' agents thinks they can throw their weight around with laughable bids. Chelsea's 55 million wasn't even given a second thought, as if 5 million more than that makes any difference. I mean, you're right, but you're seeing him a bit snooty. 21 years of age, played 20-odd times in the Prem, played 31 times in total for Brighton. 5 million to 60-odd million is good. And clearly, Arsenal's first bid, they knew it wasn't going to get accepted. So you can say it's laughable. I just think Brighton are a very smart team. They know how to sell players for big money. They're no pushovers. They know how to recruit. They know that they have an appreciating asset, where Arsenal and Chelsea have shown their hand, and they know with every good performance and every day he's spent there and keeps performing, his price tag is going to skyrocket. So I do think Andy Naylor's feeling a bit doing a bit too much there, but it is what it is. He said he's surprised by Arsenal's tactics on Caicedo. Deals were done for White and Trossard at a fair price and were good for all parties. The way to pee off the Brighton's hierarchy is to open stupidly low. It's not stupidly low, really. And, you know, City not getting Cucurella didn't change much. The offers made are a long way below Brighton's valuation, and they have no interest in selling him in this window. And that's great. But I would say selling clubs always put more value on their assets, just like in business. So I think he's doing a bit too much there. Brighton insists Caicedo is not for sale. Arsenal will now consider whether to make an improved deal or turn to alternative targets, with Sociedad Zubamendi a cheaper alternative. To be fair, the Kroenkes have been making cash available for Edu and Arteta. Love the belief and backing of my team. Getting players off Everton and West Ham right now would be difficult. The fans over there are on the verge of a full-blown riot. Moses likely goes to Chelsea. Caicedo will be like Kante for Arsenal. Should sign him, we stop signing mediocre players. After Chelsea take Moses, Arsenal will come back to take Onana. Maybe a trip to Edu. Whether it's Onana, Caicedo, Declan Rice, whoever, from now to the summer, get the lads in it. It's as simple as that, people. For me, anyways, really, man. There's no time for nonsense. 235 likes. Keep running it up, people. Again, we're still interested in Declan Rice. We can cut that. Big up Freddie Paxton. Richard Garlick has a really strong relationship with key decision makers at Brighton, which I'm sure Arsenal will help make things smoother in negotiations. Obviously, Chelsea have done business with them too, but I feel Arsenal have good dialogue there. That said, if the bid is a total of 60 million, you have to expect it to be rejected, especially as Chelsea's 55 million bid was quickly rebuffed. A busy few days of negotiating ahead. Positive thing is that Arsenal are really acting like a big club again. We're going for the title. So again, I mean, until agreements are found, I's are dotted and T's are crossed, anything can be up for debate, really. Sources say that Rice has been speaking of Arsenal in glowing terms to his teammates, pronouncing himself stunned with the progress the North London side has made. People. It seems like Moses Caicedo is going to dominate things. Quickly jumping ahead. Once again, we have previously heard Declan Rice is favouring a move to Arsenal over Chelsea. He's enticed by playing for Mikel Arteta and what Arteta is doing right now. Apparently, they will settle West Ham for a bid of 80 million, but they are seeking to fetch 100 million on a player that's contracted until 2024 with the option of another year, people. So we've heard all of that. You know, all these players can be as enticed as they want until they sign. It's a completely different entity. Zubimendi to Barca is complicated. His price tag is 60 million euros. The player has an attraction towards the Premier League, people, as stated there. That is irrelevant. That was what I got for the thumbnail. Barcelona hand Arsenal a 53 million Martin Zubimendi boost with deal very close. Barcelona are ready to accept defeat in their pursuit of 53 million Real Sociedad enforcer Martin Zubimendi, people. Apparently, he's very close, according to reports in Spain. Everybody's very close. I'm just happy that we're ready to move. Whether you sign the 23-year-old Zubimendi, the 23-year-old Declan Rice, or the 21-year-old Caicedo, get the players in it, really and truly. Capped once by Spain, obviously has started all but 2 La Liga matches, and they're actually doing well in Europe. And obviously, they're only 2 points behind Real Madrid, people. He's been talked about being a replacement for Sergio Busquets. Apparently, Zubimendi reportedly feels that a big money move to the Emirates represents a unique opportunity. He's now very close to the London club. Apparently, people, Arteta and him have the same advisors. Obviously, Arteta is Spanish like him, and I think they're from the same region, people. Mikel Arteta is a big admirer of Zubimendi. They also share an agent with the Gunners boss, a fact which should in theory make negotiations between the two parties that little bit easier. He's more physical and faster than Busquets, who is better technically, said Xavi, people. Zubimendi is a great player, so make it happen. According to Fabrizio Romano, Arsenal are testing Brighton's resolve with an eye-watering bid for Moses Caicedo. Juventus's Weston McKennie is another option, but he appears on his way to Leeds United, folks. A lot of people don't speak much about Arteta's. Yeah, he is able to develop players. To be fair, if we get Zubimendi and Bamba, it'd be good for us. Even back the Bamba, you just make something happen, people. Zubimendi's stance emerges as move now possible, people. Allegedly. Apparently, it comes despite reports suggesting that Zubimendi has told Arsenal he won't be joining this week. Allegedly, people. They claim Zubimendi could be tempted to make a move to Arsenal. Further, it's claimed he also shares the same agency. Fair enough, people. I mean, activate the release clause if you believe in him. Talking about players coming in is one thing. Again, Lokonga's been linked with a move away. Google Translate's not helping us, but I think this basically says Monaco they've had a loan offer rejected and they've tried to bid 8 million quid. Why would we take a loss? In theory, if we had enough midfield reinforcements, by all means, go on loan to Monaco, develop yourself and things like that, and either come back to Arsenal or go elsewhere. Really, 90-minute sports saying is Carlo Ancelotti's Real Madrid are looking at Bukayo Saka. Allegedly, Arsenal have been told they will have to trigger Zubimendi's 60 million release clause if they want to sign him. In their search of midfield reinforcements, both Arsenal and Chelsea have asked about RB Leipzig's Dani Olmo. The Spain international is thought to have a 60 million release clause in his contract, which only applies to La Liga sides. Arsenal's stance on late January bid for Declan Rice has Gunners set price they'll pay. Arsenal will not complete any January business that could get in the way of a summer move for top target Declan Rice. According to reports, the Gunners are the surprise leaders in the race to sign with the West Ham captain, and they believe they can get their man for around 75 million quid, people. Scrolling all the way down, Arsenal value Rice at around 70 to 75. You're hearing West Ham want 80 to 100, and they will probably, even if Arsenal move as fast as they want, you hope that Declan Rice remains firm in that Arsenal is my choice, and I don't really want to do anything. You hope West Ham respect him a bit and the years of service and they deal with Arsenal. But cynically, if I'm West Ham, even if Arsenal first week of the summer want to get it done, I'm kind of maybe not answering my phone, acting up a bit and things like that, just because you'd want the Cities, the Chelseas, the Uniteds, because you're closer to getting 100 million. Where if you do that for a 23-year-old, in basically his last year of his contract in the summer with the option of another, that's fantastic business. Manu Kone would be welcome as well. So we'll have to see, people. Hopefully the legwork is being done. Again, Ben Jacobs expects Arsenal to be active in their pursuit of Declan Rice over the next months, responding to a fan asking if the Gunners will complete any business over the next few days. He responded by saying they will not do anything that is counterproductive. As we know, Declan Rice wants to keep it moving from his club, people. So, yeah, it is what it is. Fresnadal's been linked. Doesn't seem like there's progress there. Shout out to the young Polish defender Jakub Kiria and the experienced Belgian winger Leandro Trossard, because obviously they have joined the club. People, once again, Real Madrid keen on Saka. Arsenal in advanced talks to sign Victor Guimaraes defensive midfielder Ibrahima Bamba, who can also play centre half. According to reports in Portugal, we're in advanced talks. We're looking to you know, pattern up where midfield is concerned. They now report that the Gunners are closing in on a deal for Bamba after his agent travelled to London for negotiations. The report claims that a deal for the 20-year-old could be imminent and may be completed before the transfer window closes next week. He has a £26.3 million release clause, 30 million euros, people. Can play as a centre-half as well as a defensive mid. So there you have it, people. But again, his agents kind of quashed those rumours of him being in England to agree moves. It's true that I was in London, but I was just arriving from Germany where I was watching Edmund Tatsoba's game. Bamba is not the only player I work with. He's a player profile that is clearly of interest to many clubs, but today he's a Victoria player and is only focused on Monday's game against Chavez. The market is open, but I'm not going to fuel the rumours. And again, Sports Witness have correlated this as well, people, as well, that it all depends, pardon me, where you read. Real Sociedad once again have warned Arsenal that Martin Zubamendi's release clause has to be met. You don't do that, it's a myth, people. So it's nice to see we're exploring things. We've also been linked with Onana, who's apparently said he wants to stay, and he has a 50 million price tag on his head. Arsenal on front line to sign defender. I mean, this is kind of sounding a bit upbeat in relation to Bamba. This is from DiMarzio. Apparently, he said Arsenal kept Kyrgios' transfer a secret, people. He said at the beginning he was a target for AC Milan, but AC Milan wanted to make the transfer in the summer. Napoli had the same plan. Dortmund and Villarreal also tried. So what decided that Jakub Kiria became an Arsenal player? They acted very quickly because they expected a lot of competition in June. Maybe we could apply that across all aspects. The initial bid was 18 million euros plus bonuses. Spazia's sporting director, Eduardo Marsa, and Edu have a good relationship. The conversations began. Kiria had planned to stay at Spazia until the end of the season, but when Arsenal arrived, they said they only wanted this transfer. Marshall was good and negotiated 25 million euros plus 5 million in bonuses. It was a strange negotiation because after the Mudryk deal fell through, Arsenal wanted to make a deal with the agents and clubs so that there could be no reporting on ongoing talks. Otherwise, it wouldn't have happened. After Mudryk, when the transfer was widely commented on and then joined Chelsea, the Gunners decided on confidentiality agreement in negotiations, according to DiMarzio. Nobody knew about the Kiria transfer to Arsenal practically until the very end. I understand their approach. Every player they wanted was picked up by Chelsea, offering better money. I think now even English clubs with Chelsea spirit find it difficult to get along with other clubs without anyone knowing. Arsenal did a great job with this transfer. Even Spazia, no one talked about it for fear that everything might collapse. Kiria is a very good player. The key to the transfer was to stay ahead of the competition in January because he could have gone elsewhere in the summer. So we'll have to see, people. According to the media, he'll make his debut against Manchester City. All depends where you read that, people. That was his agent speaking. Arsenal blower Smith Rowe ruled out of the Manchester City game. Allegedly, it's a precaution. He did not travel. There are rumours he might even play today against Spurs at youth level. This is just from my reading, people. So there you have it. Again, my reading. Selfishly, it's not for you lot. So there you have it, people. Let's see what's going on here. Is there anything else? It's just dominated by Moses Caicedo. If you don't see him, you'll see Zubamendi. Once again, we've rejected a bid from Monaco for Lokonga, people. 8 million euros. They're boying it. Absolutely boying it. So, yeah. Pundit shares verdict. I mean, Pundit. I don't really want to hear a Pundit's opinion on such. Charles Watts allegedly hints at departure for Kieran Tierney in the summer. What's he said there? I think we all know that Tierney could be a potential sell this summer. He's not playing much. It's very, very clear that Zinchenko is absolutely Mikel's man when it comes to the left-back situation. When you look at the way Arteta plays and the way he wants his team to play and the way he wants his left-back to play, Tierney doesn't really fit that bill. He's that old school get on the overlap, even though he's kind of been doing the underlap, inverted, whip the balls in fullback, and a very, very good one as well. Let's not forget that. I just think the way this team is evolving, the way the formation's evolving, the way Arteta sees things evolving over the next couple of years, it feels like Tierney might be a sellable asset and Arsenal have to sell players. Fair enough. There you have that, people. But apart from that, it doesn't appear that there's anything else. Wait, what has Tierney said there? Where I get my inspiration? I'll read this myself, man. Because that's a mad one. But yeah, man, it is what it is, really and truly. It'd be a shame to lose Tierney, but it is what it is if he wants to cut. Say transfer news. And with that, folks, seems to be the end of the transfer news for now. The pressure to come good at Chelsea would be immense, especially since players know that their owner would rather buy a replacement than give them time to settle. That could backfire. Brutus Tierney leaving slander. If we could get Rice advanced in coming months like Chelsea with Nkunku, big up DG. If Chelsea are interested, he goes there, in my opinion, playing for ex-manager Potter with more starting opportunities in Chelsea's piece. What are you saying, DG? Arsenal are going for Rice fully. I mean, you can go for whatever you want, but the P's, man. DG, how close do you think we are to seeing Gabriel Jesus return to the field of play? At least a month or so, really, or a couple of months. I don't really know, man. I think Brighton will hold off any bids from us regardless of the price. They know Chelsea are interested, and everyone knows how mad they're moving with their finances this window. It could be something to consider. You actually just never know. Benatia just signed a new 5-year deal. Let's go for Bamba if Caicedo is too expensive. Get Benatia or Manu Kone for 45 to 50. Arsenal are expected to return with a new improved offer for Moses Caicedo, reports Sistoni 67. Again, you have to give Brighton what they want, or you can forget about it really and truly. So I hope we do. Brighton aren't going to sell for the cheap. They're very annoying, as you should be, man. There's many things we could learn. Game should be a banger. After Chelsea, I've already seen this. If Arsenal lose to City tonight, I won't be worried. If only we can win City in the Premier League fixtures against City. I hope so, man. I want to win all three, at least 2 of the 3. Never forget, we could have had 40 million for Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Mad. Sign good players to win trophies. Caicedo and Rice will be good. I hear that. Big up DG. Caicedo comes in for Xhaka, in my honest opinion. Maybe not so much right now, but I hear it too. Kind of different, varying profiles. 254 likes. Keep running it up, people. Appreciative to you lot. Don't forget the good times are still here, because later today, together, folks, we will be watching Manchester City against Arsenal. That will be on YouTube and Twitch. Nothing wrong with moving on when a player is on the same pace as the manager. Ainsley Maitland, oh, we've already seen that. Ainsley has done very little. Oh, well, we've seen this already. Going over everything, man. Anyway, a better option is McAllister, better than Caicedo. 2 very different players. Very different players. Big up DG. It's reported Zubimendi is aware of our interest and does not want to leave Sociedad as they sit third in La Liga table. Do you really need a player that doesn't want to be at Arsenal? It's not that he doesn't want to be at Arsenal. He feels a degree of commitment. That's his boyhood club, his town and that. So it is what it is. Big up DG helping me get through the day. You lot help me, man. Shout out to you lot. What about the Lavia guy at Southampton? There's probably a fat sell-on clause from Manchester City, but Lavia is welcome. He's had a big injury, but he's fantastic, in my opinion. I think Onana is option B. Then Bamba, both deals I think can be done relatively easily. What about that Sengari of Giza? A lot of people were onto last year. Done all right when we played PSV. Gone off the boil a bit. Not quite as keen as I used to be. Looks a decent player. I don't think, as I said then, I think the one thing that goes against him is probably not expansive on the ball enough. DG, why do you think the club is pushing so hard for Fresneda if we believe Brook Norton-Cuffy has a future at the club? Throws a shadow of doubt on the young, talented player. I believe in Brook Norton-Cuffy. I just think one thing that will go against him, I don't think he's a bit like Wan-Bissaka. I don't think he's got it per se in the final third. And reality is, Brook Norton-Cuffy might be doing things, but Fresneda might be better than him. He clearly is, because he's playing top division right now. So it makes sense. By all means, Brook's been tied down to a new deal. If he develops, great. If not, the Brooks, the Charlies, the Balligans, I really think Charlie has a great chance of making it here. Keep it moving, really and truly. But Brook's a young man. So I don't know. We do have a good option there. And even then, you could argue without that, because you've got Tomiyasu, Benjamin White there now. You have Cedric at least for another year in theory. The man's young, man. If he develops, cool. If not, we make bread in it. And that's, maybe Fresneda's an opportunity too good for people to turn down, really. Nothing to do with Brook. You got Ethan as well cooking. Let these men develop, though. Kind of shocked no one going in for Ruben Neves. It's important to remember that El Nene's contract expires in the summer. He has an option of another year, and it's highly likely Lokonga leaves too due to game time. We need more defensive mids in this case. I think Sambi has a high ceiling if he gets the time he needs and has the right attitude. He'll be a top player for us. I'd say he needs some belief more, man. Brighton waiting on the Todd Burhi 100 million panic offer. I mean, Brighton control all the aces. Arsenal are desperate for a midfielder. You either put down the money and overpay, or you don't, or you go and look at other options. And if you don't do that, we know that we'll sell Moses Caicedo at some point. Keep it moving, really. According to Fabrizio Romano, though, if you believe anything, again, everything could be said. Moses Caicedo has told Brighton he would love to take the opportunity to join Arsenal. So, again, the dream is free. the hustle is sold separately. It all depends what you lot read in that relation, people. Always be my left back. And there's different strengths, man. So yeah, man, let's actually, what we should do now that we got through that, let me browse the net for some other rumors and see if there actually is anything. Caicedo is prepared to hand in a transfer request to get his dream move before the January deadline. We've heard that, but we've also seen players, you know, have offered big, have put in transfer requests and haven't got it. Lokonga is a better 8. I hear that, and I'd love to be proven wrong, but is he the best 8 at the club? He's not expansive enough on the ball. He's not mature enough to be a lone 6. And if you're talking about 8, Declan Rice is probably not at 8, but he would play at 8 ahead of him. Maybe even Moses Caicedo. You've got Granit Xhaka, you know, ahead of him as well. You've got the Odegaards, the Smith Rowes, the Zinchenkos, the Fabio Vieiras all ahead of him as well. The only people Lokonga's probably ahead of in the pecking order is probably the young Charlie Patton or the young Miguel Aziz, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, because he's been shipped out. Whether you're an 8 or a 6 or both, that would be great for us. But you need to start showing something, essentially. And I'm not being harsh on him because on one hand, you haven't necessarily given an opportunity, but you haven't taken the minutes you've had. God forbid, but if we wake up tomorrow, Partey gets injured or something, take your opportunity. Really and truly. And again, apparently Arsenal have £60 million bid for Brighton midfielder rejected once again, folks. Brighton have rejected a £60 million bid from Arsenal for midfielder Moses Caicedo, blah, blah, blah. We've seen that before. As we know, they sold Cucurella for 60 million, Basuma for 25 plus add-ons, Mupay for 15 million. They sold Trossard with a year left for 21 million, rising to 30. As we know, Brighton are tough negotiators. They're not under any pressure really financially. They're 6th in the table, so they're still trying to achieve what they're trying to achieve. But you know, he's contracted until 2025, so within the next 12 to 18 months, he's going to have to sign a renewal. And he's played 26 times in the league, 31 times. Significant upgrade on, significant profit, better yet, on the 5 million they've spent. But I guess for them, they've got to be a bit fair with their valuation. And for Arsenal, we probably have to overpay a bit, really and truly. So it is what it is in that regards, people. So that kind of wraps up that one to a slight degree, if that makes sense. So there you have that. On a side note, are you familiar with Huey and Riley Freeman? I mean, who hasn't watched the Boondocks? How old is Lokonga? Only like 23, 24 now? Brighton have signed another midfielder, whatever his name is, but Brighton are interested in that Hayara lad from Leipzig to replace Caicedo. Maybe we should do some due diligence and skip steps. In my opinion, Lokonga needs to go on loan and get some experience. Looks lost in our midfield. Amen. Sambi against Oxford, I kind of close to be done with him, just deer in the headlights. He just doesn't do enough to get out there and make it difficult. Wish I was wrong, but man, there's a comment that went. Love for the super chat. Jesus, Moses, Muhammad, I'll be faithful again. Look at this guy. Bambi is done, bro. Never took his opportunity. Would rather sign someone else and cut losses. I'd loan him out first. See if you put yourself in the shop window. Remember when our fans were going mad when Spurs signed Spence? Look how that worked. I tried to tell guys Spence is decent, but he's a bit meaty. They didn't want to listen. And sometimes you miss out on transfers and think, bloody hell, what's going on there? Sometimes you don't. 263 likes. If you haven't hit the like button, can we keep progressing, folks? One love in advance of that. So, yeah, don't appear that there's anything new, man. I mean, where Zuba, it's all Zuba Mendy, Caicedo, Declan Rice. Every now and again, Fresno the shouts, but that's gone a bit quiet as we head to the deadline on Tuesday. Don't appear like there's nothing new in the tank, people. The headlines are all just going to be mobbed with this bid allegedly placed. So, yeah, really, it doesn't appear that there's something new here. Arsenal have released some new merchandise inspired by our French connections and that. FM today. I'm not too sure. That's why we played yesterday. I don't think we'll have time purely because we go live at 4:30 and then I'm going to be live at 7. So I don't think we have time. That's why I kind of did it yesterday. Man, we're going absolutely ballistic for Basuma. Character and awareness is the factor missing in Lokonga's game. I see something positive on going forward, but he needs that XP. Won't give up on him yet after some of our players' renaissance. And that's it, man. He needs to start showing something, but he needs to start showing something in it. I think there's a player there, but is he going to be a player here for Arsenal? We ain't really got time to waste. You know, there has to have been a reason why we spent 17, 18, 19, 20 million euros. But I think if we're still saying if he doesn't get opportunity this year and take it, and we're still saying the same things in May, then I think for next season, provided we do what we need to do in midfield, whether that is Moses Caicedo, Declan Rice, or just addressing those areas, then I think, you know, the writing indirectly is a bit on the wall. You go on loan, see what you can do, and then keep it moving from there. Koza Drewbury's a baller still. At this moment, I won't say he has no awareness, but to me as a fan, I agree with you, A, in that it's like he's got no awareness. I think that could be Lokonga's greatest strength, is that he's very calm, but then the game kind of misses you by. I do think we're at that stage now where people just want to criticize the guy. But yeah, man, if Dyche is appointed Everton manager, I don't think we'll get Onana. Probably not, my guy. Sambi Lokonga is not Arsenal standard for now. Maybe he should go out on loan to gain more experience. He's not ready for now. Just seems like a bit of a spoiled kid. He's always like, why ain't I playing? Why ain't I getting called up with Belgium? Just do the Eddie and Nketiah thing. But we don't want to give up on anyone before their time, in it, really. But at the same time, in life, we need to know sometimes when signings aren't going to work. Like, in theory, let's for argument's sake, Lokonga, it's not working. Tavares, it's not working. Let's get them sold on. If they develop and do things, great. Sell-on clause is what it is. Not everyone, not everyone's going to hit the ground running straight away. Not everyone that we persist with there's going to be light at the end of the tunnel. And fundamentally, you just never know. It's essentially guesswork. So, yeah, man. Like Eddie told him, get on with it, blood. No one owes you nothing. Get on with it, fam. I'm taking Lokonga at Chelsea as brazy potential. I believe in the guy, but as I said, I think if he looked a bit more confident, I think he'd be a better player. But he needs minutes. I don't want to give up on him. I'm not giving up on no one yet, but the way we're going, there's going to be less opportunities. If we have to rely on Sambi as an 8, we might as well recall Tavares and play him as an 8, brazy. Does Caicedo this window mean no Rice in the summer? Provided that happens, we're told we'll still keep going. I used to kick ball with Zelalem at Mile and Astro. Well, maybe that's why Zelalem is wherever he is now. So, yeah, man. On that note, though, people, we've been here for an hour and 21 minutes. It's time for me to go eat some lunch. As I said, I'm back again to watch Arsenal-Manchester City with you lot. First things first, people, I want to say thank you for your talking points, for watching the vids with, man, for supporting the content, for hitting the like button, for Twitch Gang doing what you're doing. Without you lot, it's dead. Bro, it's not a vial, bro. Like, big up to him for playing at my lane, but that's why you're not a baller, innit? Like, it's really injuries, but, bro, that's why you didn't make it, innit? Really and truly. That's why you're there, innit? You're not at Arsenal again. You shouldn't have been kicking ball at Astro. You should have been at London Coley asking for tips and that, and eating hard food and them thing there, man. I appreciate you lot support, man. Without you lot, it'd be dead. As I said, 7 p.m. we go live again. If I can fit Football Manager in, broski, I will. I'm just well aware I'm very behind where youngster videos are at. So where this video is done, I'm going to go and quickly make a vid for our under 18s and 21s, because our under 21s are playing today. I want to talk about the Leicester game, and I also want to talk about the FA Youth Cup. If we can, I will in it, but that's why I kind of played yesterday. So allow me in it. I'm just one man. I'll take his ease over Sambi Lokonga cap. But I hear that. On that note, though, you lot stay safe, stay blessed. Subscribe if you haven't. Turn on your notifications. The timestamps will be put into this video. This video will be clipped up for you lot, so you lot can see exactly the talking points and all these sort of things. But on that note, you lot stay blessed. Is there anyone to raid on Twitch? No one to raid on Twitch. Oh, in fact, let's raid up my guy Denman. Really and truly. So yeah, I think that's where we have it. Shout out to you lot as we are on our quest to grow the platform, get more subscribers and engagement. We're at 276 likes. So if you have not hit the like button, people, you know what to do. It'd be a shame if you didn't. Yeah, man. You lot stay safe, stay blessed. I'm out. Speaking of confidence, this is what Sambi could learn from.
Against this right back, Charlie, definitely.
There's always just that active red flag defending. I think it's like there's always just that active red flag defending. I think it's like